What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Bulls Latest. Your host, Matt Johnson here. We are officially into November. I'm going to start today's show with a weekend recap. The Bulls had a lot going on over the weekend. The first NBA Cup group stage game and then a home-and-home traveling to New York Sunday night to finish off the weekend against the New York Knicks once again. The Bulls split with the Knicks over the weekend. They had a stellar 135-125 win over New York in the NBA Cup group stage game Friday night at the United Center. Looking at that one, Josh Giddey continued his torrid start to the year, leading the Bulls Friday night with 32 points. That's a career high for Josh Giddey. He had 10 rebounds and 9 assists in 38 minutes of action to go along with 32 points there. Vooch also added 26 points in 31 minutes of action in that one. Modest had 13 points in 29 minutes as well. Ayo Dosunmu also with another massive impact on that game Friday night off the bench. He had 22 points in 29 minutes of action, so played a ton of minutes there. Kevin Huerter also chipped in with 12 points in 26 minutes in that contest. Friday night's win for the Bulls, another cool nugget, was Billy Donovan's 200th win as the head coach, so that was a significant one for him. Has to be excited about that. On the other side of that Friday night W, Jalen Brunson dropped 29 points for New York in the loss for them. Something also worth noting in that one, Giddey had 0 turnovers in 38 minutes and nearly 38 and a half minutes of action Friday night, which, I mean, mistake-free basketball is the name of the game, and that kind of spoke to the Bulls' monster outcome to start off the NBA Cup group stage there. And then capping off the weekend, obviously the Bulls played the second game against the New York Knicks in 3 days. This time in Madison Square Garden. This time the Bulls did not come out on top. The Knicks prevailed in this one, 128-116. Handing the Bulls their first loss this season. It was an awesome start to the year for the Chicago team. Obviously, you're kind of waiting, when are they going to fumble one and go down. The undefeated stretch was fun to start the year. The first time 5-0 in a very, very long time. So, got that out of the way. The Bulls can now move on and continue to look to win ball games and play solid basketball nonetheless moving forward. Looking at Josh Giddey in this one, once again, led the way in the scoring department for Chicago with 23 points in 38 minutes of action. The Bulls had 6 other players in doubles as well. Okoro and Modest had 14. Vooch had 17 points. Trey Jones added 15 points. Jalen Smith had 12 points off the bench. I'll get to him in a little bit. He continues to be a pleasant surprise. An impact player early on for Billy Donovan. Pat Williams had 11 points off the bench as well. When you look at New York in this one, Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, and Cat, Karl Anthony Towns, all combined for 72 points in the victory Sunday night. So they played a large role in this one. Looking at Sunday night's game, it was interesting to see Ayo Dosunmu not in action, kind of putting the Bulls behind the sticks to begin the night. And Ayo Dosunmu has been such an impact on this team and really a necessity, and him being out and showing that performance, and the Bulls really going behind early on in this one, never really able to gain any traction, shows how valuable Ayo Dosunmu is to this Bulls team. Actually, once Ayo Dosunmu, I looked at the pregame line for Sunday night, once Ayo was ruled out, the Knicks were all the way up to an 8.5 point favorite pregame. So, looking more into Ayo's situation there, he's believed to be day-to-day. Jalen Carter entered the rotation in his place. He played 12 minutes in the loss. Kevin Huerter had 3 fouls early in the first quarter last night, Sunday night, making it an uphill battle from there. Billy Donovan and how to articulate that game from a coaching standpoint in that one. So it made that game all the more difficult, not to mention seeing that team twice in 3 days is a very difficult task in itself, one of the Eastern Conference's best teams. Jalen Brunson scored 19 of the Knicks' 34 first-quarter points. He had a monster first quarter, really getting the Knicks off on a strong foot there. The Bulls were down as much as 27 to New York on Sunday night there. Looking at Josh Giddey, though, I mean, this guy continues to impress. He would finish with his first triple-double of the year, 23 points to go along with 12 rebounds and 12 assists. First one of the year for him, his eighth triple-double as a Bull, moving him past Joakim Noah for third all-time behind Michael Jordan, who now has, Michael Jordan has 28 triple-doubles, and then Scottie Pippen has 15. So Josh Giddey marking his eighth triple-double as a Bull. What a feat there. Even though the Bulls dropped this contest, another encouraging performance by Josh Giddey all in all. This guy really has shown why he is going to be one of, if not the leader on this ball club, and why the Bulls really hit a home run in handing him that extension they did towards the end of this past offseason. So really encouraged by what I saw from him again. Tough to lose your first game of the year, but it's a long season. The Bulls will look to continue to stack wins and stay ahead of the eight ball in the Eastern Conference and continue to show signs of improvement with such a young roster. So kind of looking at a guy and dipping more into him, Jalen Smith here. This is a guy who continues to impress me. I'm sure a lot of Bulls fans are pleasantly surprised by the impact he's made off the bench for Billy Donovan in that ball club. Although Sunday night was a tough run, was tough from a result standpoint, there was some good to come with this contest. Obviously, Giddey's triple-double, but Jalen Smith adding 12 points in 16 minutes for Chicago. He now has 32 points in his last 40 minutes of action altogether. This guy has been quietly very, very solid for this Bulls team, continues to pack a punch off the bench, and continues to fill a void with the absence of Zach Collins there. So until Zach Collins comes back, I think Jalen Smith will be highly utilized, and it shows that Billy Donovan is very, very comfortable with putting some of that workload in the management on Jalen Smith to produce here. So look for him to continue his hot start in their next contest against Philly coming up here. I'm certainly excited to continue to see his impact on this Bulls team. I mean, he is, a guy who brings it on both sides of the floor, which is exciting. So he can score the basketball, also a defensive threat for the Chicago Bulls. And a part of the game that the Bulls really take pride in, and want to kind of push the needle forward, this year with that. So he'll continue to play an impact on that as well. Looking at some more of Ayo Dosunmu and why he is so critical to the Bulls' success. I mean, not having him in the lineup Sunday night, you look at that game, and the Bulls were really, it felt like they were never in it. I know they were only down, 8 to 10 points at halftime, something of that magnitude. So they were technically in the game, but Ayo Dosunmu was just so important to this team. And you look at the box score, 7 Bulls were in double figures Sunday night in the loss at Madison Square Garden. Needless to say, though, the Bulls missed Ayo Dosunmu, and it was so obvious from a fan standpoint sitting and watching that game. It was and this played a factor in it too. It was the 8th time that Jalen Brunson has scored 30 points against the Bulls, and not having Ayo Dosunmu out there did not help matters whatsoever. It goes to show you the leader Ayo is on this team and the impact he has in so many different ways. Kind of looking at the Knicks' point of view, they made 22 of 22 free throws and 23 pointers, also had 17 second chance points. When you look at this Bulls team overall, Ayo Dosunmu or not, the Bulls are not going to win many games if they lose the rebounding and free throw battles there. Something I talked about before the start of the regular season. The Bulls have to out-rebound teams. They have to win the rebound battle to give themselves a chance. Now, I know they play and they try and win games with their depth, and that's a great strategy. You're seeing a lot of success. Most notably, look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, 7-0. They continue to play with depth. That's just a great example there. But the Bulls need to get to the line. They need to win the rebounding battle to give themselves a shot night in and night out, regardless of being shorthanded and who's out there. So that's just an element to the game that needs to get better. I think, Josh Giddey, post-game, if you guys go and watch his post-game comments on CHSN there, it was very telling with how the guy just came off a triple-double. It shows you how much he really wants to win, and he wants to put that winning at the front of his motivation there. So I think that's an exciting sign if you're the Bulls. I thought it was great that he addressed following the loss regarding the absence of Io DeSumo and Kobe White being out, and then obviously Zach Collins. He emphasized that the Bulls really need to continue to play with pace and not turn the ball over and do things of that magnitude to stay in ball games. And then also, in addition to that, the Bulls got some good news with Noah Senge. He was also assigned to the Windy City Bulls yesterday afternoon. So that's going to be, you're going to see him start to get minutes with the Windy City Bulls there and get underway there in terms of his experience and building him to eventually become a NBA level player there and want to get contributions from your first round pick at the big league level. So exciting there. Billy Donovan said before Friday night's game that Noah Senge will start practicing and playing games with the Windy City Bulls. It'll be an extended stretch, something that I talked about all the way back in May. I mean, after they drafted him, really, I think that was part of the plan. There were some reports out there that the Bulls were going to throw him right into the fire. A lot of people wanted to see that as well, but not surprised that Billy Donovan, who is historically very good at developing young talent, is taking this approach with the first-round pick there. So, up next for this big league club, obviously the Chicago Bulls have a home matchup against the Philadelphia 76ers, the 5-1 Philadelphia 76ers. I'll have you guys a preview of that game tomorrow morning, and then we'll go from there. It's a big week for the Bulls, big bounce back week in terms of that loss on Sunday night. The Bulls will then be off until Friday, so Tuesday night they'll host Philly, and then they will go and play their second NBA Cup group stage game at Milwaukee. So they'll be in Milwaukee. That'll certainly draw a ton of Bulls fans, always does. But, I just think overall there's a lot of positives to take from this. And I think, when you look at and diving into a little bit more to cap off today's show, there's a lot to stay positive about with this Bulls team and the start that they've had. I think Josh Giddey's post-game comments were very telling, though. He said, quote, teams weren't going to shoot 25% the whole year against us. We got to find ways to win games and to shoot the ball well. Josh Giddey post-game after the Knicks shot nearly 49% from three-point range. So those comments just show you overall, again, to cap off today's show, how much this Bulls team really wants to win, and that's coming from their leader and the expectation that the Bulls set the bar high. I think that's exciting. That's something that Bulls fans really haven't had in a long time, and given that this is a very young team, that's a very exciting atmosphere to have around these guys, and it really starts with Billy Donovan. So, I'm excited for this week. Couple big games on the slate for the Bulls. Again, I'll have you guys a preview of the Sixers game tomorrow morning. We'll look into that and some betting lines and things like that. But let's have a great week. Excited for some Bulls action. Thanks again for joining me, guys, to start another week on Bulls Latest here. We will see you guys next time.